Hello and welcome to the Random Wrestling Review. This is our local to global series, and we're now in October of 2001. Having come off quite a busy period, we went into the last episode to do Open Doors, our free show, and set a new record attendance at a sellout at the Marshall Center for the show. I mean, it's a sellout. I guess you can call it a sellout, except it was a free show, right? So basically we had a capacity attendance where 300 people turned up to take a free ticket, which is fair enough. It was a free show. Today is luck of the draw, and luck of the draw has historically been quite a big thing in this company, perhaps the biggest event that took place, or the biggest thing that took place at the event, I should say, in the past. Was all the way back, I think, in 1999 at this very show when Dan Severn made his debut in the company and won the Northwest title in that match, and that was pretty major. Will something like that happen this year? I wonder. Let's find out, because it is just, well, it's not even a couple of days away. It is tonight, so we might be able to get in two events in today's episode. Let's wait and see for that one. So, luck of the draw, for anyone who doesn't realise, it's a show where every single year, effectively, the matches are completely randomly drawn. Although obviously that's not actually what happens. I book it to be that way, but the idea is, in kayfabe terms, all of the matches are randomly drawn. The Northwest title has to be on the line. The Northwest tag team titles have to be on the line. There's going to be a six-man tag match, and then there will also be two singles matches. We're going to start this year's show with the six-man tag match, and it's going to see Billy Kidman and Barry Buchanan along with Rex King taking on Chaz Warrington, Glenn Ruth of the Headbangers, and Phantasma. That's the opening contest of the day. Glenn Ruth still carrying an injury, and in this one we are going to have Billy Kidman get the victory, and he's going to pin, I think we'll have him pin Glenn Ruth. So victory, let's have them work the crowd as well. Victory for the heels here in this one. Then the next match is going to be Mark Henry drawn against Buddy Wayne for a first time ever singles match, I believe. Never had a singles match before. They've both been in the company together a long time. Mark Henry turned up sometime in 1998 or 99. Buddy Wayne's been here since the start, but they've never had a singles match, and they've been randomly drawn into it for this show. We're going to make this one go 11 minutes, and we're going to have Mark Henry get the win. I think we'll have this be a tainted win as well, just to make things a little bit more balanced. And here we have this same warning message again, that Buddy Wayne is going to struggle to go for a match this length, and I think we're going to heed that warning and put this down to 10 minutes. Yeah, so he can make 10 minutes in a non-storyline, non-slow build contest, but any longer and he struggles. If you give him a storyline or a slow build, I think he can go a little longer, but that is really concerning. I was hoping Buddy Wayne would still be very viable for the very long term future, and it's starting to look like that might not be the case. Anyway, Mark Henry's going to win that match. Then on his way out of the arena, he is going to be sort of confronted by Darren Drozdov, who's coming out for his match. And Droz mocks Buddy Wayne as they pass, tells him, says he's Wayne's supposed, can't spell today, supposed to be the number one contender. So yeah, Darren Drozdov was going to say, you're supposed to be the number one contender, and then you just lost that match. As Drozdov's coming in, Buddy Wayne's going out. Now that's to refer to this rankings table right now, with Buddy Wayne top of the rankings, 10 points, just 2 behind CM Punk. We got Mark Henry on 8 points, Sean Stasiak on 8 points, Billy Kidman on 8 points, C.W. Anderson on 7, Brock Lesnar, who's currently injured, on 5, Batista on 5, T.J. Wilson and Charlie Haas on 4, Chaz Warrington, One Man Gang, Chemo on 3, then we got Glenn Ruth, Phantasma, Rex King, Teddy Hart, Barry Buchanan, all on 2, Darren Drozdov on 1, he made his debut, of course, in the last episode, and Chris Harris also on 1, Ace still on 0. This is the most wrestlers I think we've had in the rankings ever so far, 21 wrestlers on the roster effectively right now, and that's largely largely because we brought in Darren Drozdov to cover the absence of Brock Lesnar. That's not to say that Drozdov will be the one to go if and when Brock Lesnar returns, but just that's why we're in that situation. So as I said, Darren Drozdov was coming out for the next match. He's been drawn against the newly babyface Chemo, let's not forget. Chemo also carrying an injury into this one. And could be a tough one to go with. I want to see if we can get away with Drozdov beating Chemo. I think he's probably not going to be happy about this at all. It was going to be as a consequence of outside interference, so we're going to see if this works, because Barry Buchanan is going to come in and cost Chemo the match. This is obviously a continuation of the fact that they're in a feud. Chemo furious at the booking, so let's see if we can get him to do this. If we keep him strong and we protect him. I don't think he's going to. I've got a feeling he's still not going to be happy. Yeah, he's furious at the match and is complaining loudly he wants it changed. Okay, so I kind of expected that, to be honest. But now just thinking about it, given that Chemo is also injured, it might be worth us just taking Chemo out of the match. I'm just not sure who we've got in the roster to take his place, because obviously, we don't have a lot of heels at the moment. That's the other reason Darren Drozdov came in, is because we are really running low on heels in the company. But actually, we don't need a heel. We need a babyface. Of course we do, because Darren Drozdov's a heel. So that's another mistake I've just made. Okay, so we don't need a heel here. We need a babyface. Okay, so still not sure who we can bring into this match, though, based on everything that I've got planned for the show still to come. So we might have to have Darren Drozdov lose, which wouldn't be a terrible thing, because it doesn't require that to be the case. So I think what we'll do is we'll just have Chemo win. I cannot annoy Chemo off anymore. He's already got major morale issues with me, or very big morale issues anyway. I think what we'll do is we'll do a botched interference finish here, where Drozdov gets clobbered by Barry Buchanan in the course of this match. So Chemo will stay happy. I think if it was anybody else, I would have just pushed on, but Chemo's already angry with me, and we do have a feud for him to concentrate on, obviously, because he's alongside Ace still in his feud with his former Rebellion teammates Barry Buchanan and Billy Kidman. But we're going to add a storyline here, which is the Buddy Wayne versus Darren Drozdov. So that's where we're going here, to get these two into a feud. Not the best in terms of what I wanted here. I wanted Drozdov to come out with a second victory in a row in this match, but ultimately I think keeping Chemo happy is probably more important to me at the moment than anything else. So just let me check the stories again. So we've got this one, Batista and Chris Harris. I think I'll alter this because it is Batista and Chris Harris, really. Interestingly, I've got nothing for them two on this show at all. That's because, of course, Batista is currently out with a suspension, so cannot be there. May as well keep one-man gang in there just in case. So next match is going to also launch another feud. It's going to be a tag team title match, and it is going to see Charlie Haas and C.W. Anderson against Teddy Hart and T.J. Wilson. The Calgary Connection getting their chance for the title here. And I'm going to go for a 20-minute time limit draw. Now, I don't think this will do very well, because I think that our fans don't like stuff to go this long. But I just didn't think I could warrant a time limit finish being only 15 minutes when it was for a title. And so they had to go at least 20 minutes to make this, in my eyes, a legitimate looking time limit finish. So Red Alert and Calgary Connection will go 20 minutes and go into a draw, and that's where we're going to add a new storyline. It is going to be Red Alert versus Calgary Connection. So we've got a lot of stuff going on right now in this company in terms of stories, which is really great, to be a great position to be in. to have that many stories. We haven't had this many storylines in quite some time, so this is really cool. So that's the tag team title match, and it's going to go to a draw. And then the main event will, of course, be for the Northwest title, and it is going to see CM Punk defending his title against One Man Gang. Quite a big, quite a big challenge, this one, for Punk. You'll see here One Man Gang currently in 11th in the ranking. So this is obviously giving him a way earlier opportunity at the title than would have been expected. He's never had a title shot before One Man Gang. Obviously, he's only been with the company for a couple of 11 matches, 2 stints, both of which have been reasonably short. I think we'll make this go 12 minutes. See if One Man Gang can do that, but I don't think it'll be a major problem if he can't, because I think CM Punk can carry him to it. So RWR Northwest title, CM Punk beats One Man Gang. Yeah, we've been advised not to put him in this match. I think we're going to do it anyway. I think we'll be fine. CM Punk's been brilliant. We've got Glenn Ruth and Chemo both wrestling with injury. I think we'll make this one a storytelling match to fulfill that requirement on our events. But yeah, we still got those two wrestling injured, but everybody else is fine. And we're not going to be penalised. So it's time for us to go into Luck of the Draw 2001. And 271 paying customers are here for this one. So we are now getting close to being able to sell out properly the Marshall Center, which is great news. In this opening trios contest, these Billy Kidman, Barry Buchanan and Rex King defeat Phantasma and the Headbangers when Kidman pins Glenn Ruth with a shooting star press, a segment rating of 44. Everyone performed pretty well here. Chaz Warrington a 30, Glenn Ruth a 33 despite the injury and being off his game. Phantasma a 37, but Kidman a 45, Barry Buchanan a 43 and Rex King a 39. A very decent opening contest, won by the heels for a segment rating of 44. Then Mark Henry faces Buddy Wayne in a 9 minute and 50-second encounter, which Henry wins by using a foreign object and then getting the pinfall. So Buddy Wayne a 42, Mark Henry a 36. Segment rating of 42, pretty good. But again, that warning about Buddy Wayne's stamina is a concern for the longest running member of our roster, who appears to be reaching a point in his career where maybe time is taking its toll. We'll have to wait and see how much it's taking its toll in the next coming months and weeks. After this match, as Buddy Wayne is leaving, Darren Drozdov is entering for his match. Darren Drozdov and Buddy Wayne get into a little bit of a conversation. Drozdov taunting Wayne for losing the last match, and then sort of throws in the line that you're supposed to be the number one contender. What a joke. Segment rating of 38 to get this feud between Buddy Wayne and Darren Drozdov kicked off. Drozdov then walks into a loss, though, against Chemo in 12 minutes and 11 seconds when Chemo wins with a spinning leg drop, following botched interference by Barry Buchanan. So Buchanan obviously trying to get at Chemo here, one of his previous Rebellion teammates, I should say, and Chemo being off his game and the injury took a toll. So the fact this was a 37 is pretty impressive, actually. Chemo did a 41. Drozdov a 21, which is way better than he was in his last match. So a couple of good, a good sign there, really, from Drozdov that actually he might be pretty useful. I did feel this way. I felt like after the last appearance, despite it being a poor performance, that it was due mainly down to him being completely unknown rather than anything else. So this is encouraging. Then we have our two title matches in the main event spots. Red Alert versus Calgary Connection is the first one, a match that went 20 minutes. And here you go, the match was a little too long given our audience. That was as expected. So our audience don't like anything that's over 15 minutes, basically. Segment rating of 43. This one got a draw, as I said, in 20 minutes. Anderson and Charlie Haas are 41 and 43. Teddy Hart at 43. And TJ Wilson at 29. Anyway, this kicks off this feud, and we needn't have now matches between them go more than 20 minutes, which more than 15 minutes, sorry, which would mean that this segment rate might be even higher in the future. And then the title match main event is still very good, despite Punk having to face the off his game. despite Punk himself being off his game and One Man Gang being completely exhausted by the end of the contest. They've got a segment rating of 49 with Punk winning at 11:39 with a Pepsi plunge. Punk making defense number 3 of the Northwest title and a very good finish to the show actually. A segment rating of 49. Punk gets the win. Hard to argue with. Not the best show we've ever seen in the company, but one that we're pretty happy with nonetheless because it increased our popularity and because it still delivered a pretty decent main event. Now, in terms of the performances on this show, who deserves the credit the most? Well, I think I'm going to give Darren Drozdov some praise because that was a lot better than the last one, and we were a little bit concerned by his first appearance. CM Punk compliment as well, probably the best performer on the show, I would think. And on top of that, I'm going to give some credit to, I think we'll give it to Billy Kidman. Bit difficult to know where to go with that this time around, but anyway, those are the ones who get the compliments. And look, I'll be completely honest, not the most lively or most event-filled show was Luck of the Draw this year. Nothing too major. One for us to get through rather than to really do anything with. Although we've set up a new story between Buddy Wade and Darren Drozdov, a new one between Red Alert and the Calgary Connection, both of which should continue to evolve going forward. And I think we just need to move straight on to what's next, which will be our next. I haven't even booked in yet our next show. Don't know what it's going to be called. The second show in October, ultimately. So I'll add the new event. I think we might go with one that's a suggest name today because cannot think of anything myself. So let's move this to special day. It's going to be Monday, week 4, October. And let's suggest a name. Now, we found that there haven't been great names that the AI gives. So I'm going to go with that. Kings of Wrestling. Have we used that before? It feels like we should have used it before because it's not bad. I mean, obviously it's the name of Claudio Castagnoli and Chris Hero's tag team, and I think other people were involved as well. But the game in 2001, the world didn't know that, and Kings of Wrestling seems fine. I was going to say if there's anything else that they've got for us, but I will go with that if not. Blood Simple. What? No, there's nothing else here. No, there's nothing else. Come out and play Oblivion. We must have done that before. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go with Kings of Wrestling. Oh, I don't know why. Now I'm questioning myself. How about we just go with something really bland, like we've done Novemberfest before. Like we could do Oktoberfest, but I don't know. War. Oh, I don't know. Oh, this is annoying me. Wrestle Epic. That's what we're going to call it. Wrestle Epic. It looks like Wrestle Pick, doesn't it? Wrestle Epic is what we're going to call it. That looks rubbish too. Ah. You know what? No, I'm just going to go Kings of Wrestling. I've got nothing else. I don't particularly like it anymore. I did for a moment like it, but I've decided I don't like it anymore. But we're going to go with it anyway because I don't want to spend ages just deciding on a name. That must be the least interesting YouTube content in the history of the world. Just very quickly, let's have a look at this before we move on. Luck of the Draw this year was way down, 18th best show of all time. And in terms of matches, nothing in the top 20. CM Punk against One Man Gang was the 28th best match of all time, which is way down there. But Punk holding the title well now, 3 successful title defenses for him against Barry Buchanan, Ace Steel, and now One Man Gang. That was the worst title match we've had since May, That was Chris Harris against Chemo. So yes, not terrible. We're going to move forward now to the next player controlled show. If you're enjoying today's video and you want to show your appreciation, then please hit the like button. And if you are going to continue to follow along with this series, then hit the this subscribe button. Couldn't remember what it was called for a minute. And yeah, join us for this journey. Actually, if you're watching us for the first time today, there are 80 plus episodes in the backlog of this story, and I think it from at least sort of, well, I think the stories go way back into that. I think we've got a lot of long-term storytelling, so I would encourage you to go back and watch the whole series. But then of course I would, but I've seen a number of people going through the episodes and really enjoying it from a perspective of just seeing this world and this company evolve. And I think there is it's a for me, I would hope that it's a viewing that kind of rewards people who kind of stick with it all the way through and watch the full series. So yeah, that please go do that. And also, I haven't given a plug for this for a long time, but our podcast, which is the main reason I set up this YouTube channel, really was to plug and increase exposure for our podcast, the Random Wrestling Revue. You can find it on all your podcast apps that you would expect. And yeah, there are over 200 different shows on the feed, as well as over 180 of our main episodes, which are where we review a random wrestling event from history at some point. We've covered events from anywhere between 1984 and the present day, from WWE, WCW, ECW, AWA, AEW, NXT, NWA, TNA, pretty much everywhere you could imagine. So, well, certainly on the North American wrestling scene. So please do check that out if you get the chance. So we're going to be going into our next show, which is called Kings of Wrestling. As I said, not my favourite name, but that's what we've got. I don't think we'll actually be able to cover this event, but I think we will at least book most or some of it. You can see at the moment we have got an $8,000 profit this month. Now, I don't think we'll end with that because this show will cost us some money, but anything around that 7,000-8,000 mark for the month would be very, very good. And would tell me we're getting closer and closer to being where we want to be. So Kings of Wrestling then. This could be a reasonably hefty show in terms of the amount of stuff I'm going to be doing. We're going to start with, so going back to the rankings, of course, Buddy Wayne remains the number one contender because even though Mark Henry won his match at Luck of the Draw, he only has 9 points, so Buddy Wayne's still our number one contender. So the advertised main event for this show is CM Punk against Buddy Wayne, but this show is going to start with Buddy Wayne coming out and saying he doesn't want to take his title shot. Wayne says he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve his title shot and defers it indefinitely. So deferring has definitely become the word of the year, really, in the Random Wrestling Revue. But this is a different kind of deferral, unlike Ace Steel, Barry Buchanan, and the like from the past, where they were deferring their title shots because of a deal that they'd done with Bruce Hart. This is actually Buddy Wayne deferring his title shot because he doesn't feel like he deserves it. He's lost his last two matches. He heard what Darren Drozdov said last week, 2 weeks ago, and he says he's right. In fact, we'll have Darren Drozdov in this overness off screen, and so that's the start. Buddy Wayne's going to defer his title shot. Then we're going to go into the first match of the night. It's going to be Chris Harris and One Man Gang in tag team competition with Glenn Ruth and Chaz Warrington, the headbangers. Glenn Ruth's still injured. Make this one go 12 minutes. We'll have the winner of this one be Chris Harris, former champion, of course. He's going to beat Chaz Warrington because I think Glenn Ruth took the pinfall the last time. And it's going to be a pinfall victory for Chris Harris. So a victory for them. One Man Gang doesn't have the stamina for this match, apparently. Before we go any further, I think these two did have a match Yes, they did. So this is a sort of return match from the Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza after the Headbangers won the previous contest by countout. This is Chris Harris and One Man Gang getting their victory back, if you like. Then after the match, Dave Batista comes out, back from his suspension, of course, which he was the last two events, and he doesn't attack Chris Harris, but comes to the stage uh, and challenges Chris Harris to a rematch next month in November at some point. So Dave Batista's back and he's challenging Chris Harris. You'll remember, of course, the two of them went to a wild kind of brawl about a month ago, and the blame for that was squarely placed on Dave Batista by RWR owner Bruce Hart, though of course Batista and Harris both had a part to play in what took place. Then to continue the new feud between Red Alert and the Calgary Connection, we're going to get Charlie Haas versus TJ Wilson in here in what I think could be a very good match. It's going to be an open one. Charlie Haas is going to win with a pinfall. I think we'll make this storytelling as well. So Charlie Haas versus TJ Wilson. Just continue that feud and really just to see what this match is like and fill some time, of course. So then we have an angle where Bruce Hart is with Sean Stasiak and Mark Henry. And Bruce Hart basically says that the winner of this... Bruce Hart says that with Buddy Wayne deferring his title shot, he still wants to put a title match on tonight. The next two number one contenders are Sean Stasiak and Mark Henry. In fact, we were going to do something here that doesn't make sense now. I just realised that it doesn't make sense anymore. So I'd very much calculated to do this on the basis that Stasiak and Henry would be on the same amount of points, but because Mark Henry just beat Buddy Wayne, that's not the case anymore. Mark Henry has 9 points, so this is going to be a slightly different angle than the one I originally had decided on, which is that it's just going to be basically Bruce Hart announcing that the new main event of the show will see Punk versus Mark Henry. So not a particularly important or as important a segment as I had originally thought, but that's what's going to happen. So Bruce Hart's going to come out and say, well, with Buddy Wayne deferring his title shot, we need a new main event for tonight. I want the championship to be on the line as was promised to all of you, and so we are going to get CM Punk versus Mark Henry tonight. That has changed things a little bit because I was actually going to have a coin toss between Stasiak and Henry, who I thought were on the same points, or I had wrongly calculated would be on the same points, and then have Stasiak win that coin toss and face Punk in this show. So that does actually change things, but we just have to roll with those punches. Sometimes we get things wrong. So next up is Darren Drozdov against Phantasma. So Drozdov is going to get a win on this occasion. I've got 11 minutes. Don't need it to go too long. He's going to get the tainted victory, I think, in this one. Phantasma also having problems with stamina. We've got a lot of guys that we did bring in, a couple of older wrestlers, and I did it thinking, that they would be all right, but at the moment they are struggling a bit. Darren Drozdov afterwards is going to cut promo on Buddy Wayne. Drozdov claims that Buddy Wayne is only deferring his title shot until he's in better form. So Drozdov sort of arguing that there's nothing honourable about what Buddy Wayne is doing. He's only deferring the title shot because he knows he's in terrible form as of late. He's lost his last two matches and knows he's not going to win the match, and so he's deferring it to a point where his form returns to him. Then we're going to have a big grudge match next up. Ace Steel and Chemo Oh, oh no, we've got a problem. Is Chemo not here? Oh, this could be terrible. Yes, we've got three guys who are working for ECW. Barry Buchanan's also working for. Oh, this is a. What happened? I didn't check. I did not check, and that's why I've been checking, and I've been so diligent about checking who is in the who's around, making sure everyone's available. And on this occasion, three of them are working for ECW tonight. Well, thank goodness that wasn't more damaging, and that'll teach me for not kind of paying heed to the usual checks that I do. I've got a way around this reasonably easily. We're going to have Ace Steel take on Billy Kidman. I was hoping to save this one. This is going to be one of the big matches that we saved for the future. And I think we'll make this one go 14 minutes. I think Billy Kidman's going to win. We'll give him the tainted win. Can these two go all out as well? Just to give it a different feel. They can. But I think what I'm going to do here between Drozdov and Phantasma is get rid of that tainted finish and then just bring it down to 9 minutes. Because that will allow Phantasma to go better within the match. And then Ace Steel and Billy Kidman will face each other. That was going to be a tag team match. We're going to have Ace Steel and Chemo against Barry Buchanan and Billy Kidman in a big what's the word I'm looking for? A big grudge match. And I also realised there was something I'd forgotten here as well that I was going to do instead. So this has been a pretty much a disaster. I got the Sean Stasiak Mark Henry thing wrong. Thankfully I was able to amend that on the fly. We've got this all wrong and the end of this match wrong as well. So it's not going to be a tainted finish. It's going to be an outside interference finish, and this one is going to be Ace Steel attacked by Rex King, and Rex King is going to help Ace Steel win them. Help Billy Kidman, win the match. So I will put this back to tainted, just because I like to vary the finishes. So we're going to put that back to tainted. And we do have one more match, of course, which is the title match: CM Punk against Sean Stasiak. No, not against Sean Stasiak, against Mark Henry. So I'm getting it all wrong over and over again today. Let's see if I can do 15 minutes with these two with a slow build. And it's going to be Punk who wins in that one. So our booking analysis. Glenn Ruth is injured. We're not going to be penalised. Well, that is today's episode. We're going to leave you before we even bring you this show. I've got to apologise today for what I've brought you today, because I feel like I've been awful just in terms of the number of things I forgot during the booking of this event. But it's a pretty, there's a lot going on there. It's a pretty happening show. But we've, for the first time, suffered an actual clash with another company's event, which we haven't done for a long time. We need to look into that and make sure that doesn't happen again. But we'll be bringing you this show properly in the next episode. But until then, thank you very much for watching.